Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are testing out Honest Beauty, some old faves, some new products. I did do a full face of their products quite a while ago, so I thought it was about time I do an updated one. Before we get into the video, if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you, and please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy at any point. Here's a cute picture of a cat for doing both of those things. But let's go ahead and get started. Forewarning, this video was a little bit up and down. We had some big hits and big misses, so if you want to know all the details, then keep watching. If you're curious about Honest Beauty skincare, I do have a whole video about their skincare as well. I will link that in the info card, but let's start with the primers. So they sell two different primers. They have a matte version and the glow version. This one I have here is the Everything Primer Matte Prep and Prime. Comes in this white tube. This I have had for quite a while. Do I reach for it a lot? No, it just doesn't do a ton, but we are still going to apply it today. And it kind of just has this like regular schmegular lotiony consistency. And I'm going to put this in the T-zone and my chin. It does feel a bit thick going on, as do a lot of like matte primers, and it almost has a slightly sticky consistency, but I feel like it's probably going to dry down. Yeah, it does actually feel really smooth and nice. We'll see how it goes under the foundation because I have not tried it with this foundation yet. So this is the Honest Beauty Snow Everything Cream Foundation. You can find Honest Beauty at Target, on Amazon, tons of products on Amazon. That's where I picked up this foundation, and this is the one product from Honest Beauty that I hadn't tried. So I decided to pick it up in the shade Snow. The shades are like pretty hard to navigate, I would say. There's not a ton of them. So it's a cream foundation, and then in the bottom you get that like, what do you call that, little makeup round. I have tried this foundation with that kind of application and I really disliked it. I have a lot of texture on my cheeks, so I feel like smoothing something over, it just never works for my texture. So I'm going to be using a brush and a sponge for this foundation today. This is the shade Snow, as I mentioned. We'll do a little swatch. I would say it's a pretty good match for me. It has like neutral, warmer undertones, but it doesn't lean like either way too strongly. I actually really like the look of this primer. I don't know why I don't use this more. So since this is almost a drier cream formula, I'm going to mist my face before I start applying it. I just feel like this really helps the product smooth on nicer. I do have moisturizer and everything on, but it's sinking in a little bit, so I want a little bit of moisture to help things along. This is just a Fit Glow Beauty Sea Ceramide Toning Mist. And you don't want your face like soaking wet, so I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. Oh, before we do that, I actually have, I guess it's like a makeup skincare hybrid product, the Honestly Bright Eyes Eye Cream. This is a very lightly tinted eye cream. We're gonna go ahead and put this on. It's more of a yellowy shade versus I find like peachy shades work for my under eyes a little bit better. And I'm just taking a little bit of this and applying it. It is nice to have an eye cream that is like a little bit tinted just to help. And also if you don't wear makeup and you just want like a little bit of color correction, I think this eye cream is a really nice option, and it's a great eye cream. I've been using this one for a long time now. All right, now let's get into this foundation. I'm not sure if you could see what I'm talking about here, but when I first bought this, there's some like weird bumps and texture in it, which I'm guessing is just like the minerals not being mixed completely. Hello, focus. So I'm not like 100% sure what's going on with that, but the formula seems to be fine. I'm going to be using a flat brush. This doesn't have any brand on it. So I'm stippling my foundation brush into the foundation, and I'm going to start by stippling this product on. It definitely gives like very good coverage, as you can tell. It also has this like really nice, super light, like non-fragranced, but like fruity scent, I guess. Yeah, I just find this foundation is really hard to apply evenly with my skin type. Definitely needs a sponge to even out the texture. And even with the sponge, like it just, gosh, that looks bad. It's sort of just like stuck to a patch on my face right here. I worked on blending it a little bit more and it did sort of go away, but it just doesn't sit that nicely on the skin. Let's just try using my sponge, see if that helps. Yikes, this is looking really bad, especially on my texture. So I'm gonna try an alternate technique to see if this will help. I'm taking a little bit of oil. This one's just a rosehip oil. It just feels like dry. That's sort of the issue when I'm applying it. So I'm gonna put oil on this side of my face. Sometimes with cream foundations, you just need like a very, very moisturized, slippery base. Now let's try with the brush again. And then smoothing with my sponge. Okay, that literally looks so much better than this side. Yeah, it's like a totally different foundation. It needs something a little bit slipperier. It's just maybe formulated a little bit too dry, which is kind of annoying when you have to like make a foundation work and it doesn't work on its own. So you definitely don't need to use like a straight oil. You could probably just use a very glowy primer, a heavy moisturizer, something that's a little bit thicker and sticks onto the skin, because my skin prep and the matte primer was just not doing it for this foundation. Even with that oil, this foundation looks so bad on my skin. It's so cakey. I don't know what I did wrong, but I have used this before and tried it several different times and it just doesn't work for me. We're gonna have to go with it, but I'm gonna say just avoid this foundation. It's just like a hassle. I don't really know. I don't know what to do with it. It doesn't work. I like something that's fuss free, that's not gonna like be so inconsistent when I like wake up and want to do foundation. I want my foundation to look good, and this is just not looking good. I feel like on camera everything's just like smoothed out. I will insert like clips on my phone just to show you how bad it's looking. This video is off to such a weird start, but there is something I'm very excited about, and they released a new concealer. I was not expecting it to be in like this really nice glass tube, but it is. So on Amazon, all the shades were on different listings, so you kind of have to go onto the Honest Beauty storefront to find all the shades, but I believe this is the lightest one, which is called Ivory, and this is called their Fresh Flex Concealer. It's a really nice consistency in one of those double-sided applicators, and I kind of wiped the foundation off around my eyes so this can have a fair shot. I did start using this and was really surprised by it. Like, this is actually a pretty full coverage concealer. I don't know, I was expecting it to be like more sheer because Honest Beauty, more of a natural brand. Like, look at that difference. Definitely not full coverage, but it's giving what needs to be given. And I'm trying my finger out on this side. The shade is really nice. It doesn't have cool undertones. It's more of like a warmer neutral. I feel like this concealer is the only thing that's going to be able to save the day. Let's try to put it over the foundation because it can't get much worse than what it already is. This concealer is super pretty. I love the coverage of it. Hopefully it wears well. I haven't been able to fully test out the wear time, but like it gave really nice coverage. It definitely has a, it's not dewy, it's more of like a satiny finish, so if you have dry skin it's not gonna look like super flat. So next, to like set everything, I wanted to mention the Honest Beauty. This is the Invisible Loose Powder. I believe this is like a cornstarch based powder. I'm not going to use this today because it looks so dry. I just wanted to say this is a pass for me. It's really drying. It emphasizes texture. It's just too like chalky. It's just not a good powder. I prefer something like very smoothing. The Ilia powder is amazing. I know this one's like more affordable, but it's just, I'm not going to put it on my face because we've already gone like down a bad path. So I'm trying to save this. So I'm going to be using the Derma Blend Loose Powder, one of my favorites. This is talc based, but it looks super smooth on skin. I actually got this on Prime Day. It came with like a mini size. This is 1 ounce, so like a ton of powder you get in here. And this is a truly translucent powder if you have fair skin and you find like a lot of powders deep in your skin. Oh, another thing about this, deepens your under eyes. I mean, look at the color, of course it does. So if you have fair skin, especially pass on that. So we're gonna go in with the Derma Blend. And I am going to smooth out my under eye creases before I set, of course. Honest Beauty, for base products, they also make a tinted moisturizer, which I really liked. I do not have that anymore. Maybe I will repurchase to try it out again. but it was very light and it actually lasted a really long time. Maybe that would have been a better option instead of this crazy looking foundation. The concealer is set really nicely. I rarely have dry skin patches, but this foundation, like, it's giving me so much. Like, my face looks like it's peeling. It looks so bad. Even in my cheeks, like, I don't know what is happening. It's not good. Concealer looks good though. I really wish it could have been on like a nicer base. But I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my face with this powder as well. A good powder brush has a good wiggle. This is a BK Beauty 102. It's just a giant fluffy brush. Powder did not help the face, unfortunately. I look very scaly, which is not a usual thing for me. On to bronzer. Honest Beauty doesn't make a bronzer, but they do make these glow powders. And this is the darker shade, which is called Dusk Reflection, which is a beautiful bronzer if you do have fair skin, you have deep skin or medium skin. They just don't have bronzer shades. You could barely tell, but that's really nice if you're as fair as me. And I'm just taking a like slightly dense bronzer brush. And this has a slightly red undertone, but it's so sheer, I feel like it just works really well. And this is basically a highlighter, but the sheen or shimmer in it, so very finely milled. It actually reminds me of the Hourglass ambient lighting powders. Like, it's that amount of shimmer. It's very, very slight. So it's not gonna look like you have a highlighter on as bronzer. It's so weird. Even as I'm putting bronzer on, it's like lifting up the foundation. Maybe I shouldn't have used oil. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But I have been using this bronzer for so freaking long. It doesn't even look like I've been using it. Lasts forever. Love that as a bronzer. It's super pretty. So for blushes, they make cream and powders. I do like the creams. Those are just like a classic Honest Beauty product in my opinion. Really comparable to high end. If you need a good cream blush, those are a good one. But I also have their lip powder blush, which is like their shimmery powder blushes. And this is the shade Frisky, which is, yeah, a little bit deep for me, but you can definitely apply it sheerly. Kind of matches my shirt, so I'm gonna use a fluffy brush for this. Picking up a little bit of product, but making sure I work off the excess, and then applying it. I do enjoy this product on its own. It's hard putting products over such like a textured base because obviously nothing's gonna look good. But this is really pretty and the shimmer is not too chunky. It's very pigmented. If you have like medium, I feel like medium olive skin, the shade would be super pretty on you. I do have a bunch of other shades, like the formula, cream blushes as well. I think the blushes, all in all, are a good pick from them. Next up, this is their old packaging. This compact is gross. But this is the Midnight Reflection powder, so it's the same thing as the bronzer we used, but it's the lighter shade, which I also use as highlight. This is old, but it says it lasts for 2 years, so it's probably been more than that. No, maybe around 2 years. I think I'm good with this. It's a powder. It doesn't seem weird or expired. And that's the like light glow shade. This is super pretty. It's so hard to show you a swatch because it just is one of those very natural powders. Again, reminds me of the Hourglass ones. And I just like to dust this on the high points of the face. Not that we want to highlight anything going on, but it adds a really nice glow. All right, on to, I guess I should do my brows. I'll do my brows and be back. Okay, on to our eyeshadow. I have their eyeshadow palette here. I don't believe they have any more than this one. This is something I've also had for a very long time. Get It Together eyeshadow palette. These are the shades here. Am I like totally inspired by this color story? Not really. Like, I really like these browns. I'm just not a huge fan of purple eyeshadow, and I feel like purples are in so many eyeshadow palettes. But you do get like this nice gold, and then I love how you get a matte black and a very light matte white. Some of my favorite shadows to have in just a basic eyeshadow palette, and that's not included in a lot of palettes that I find, especially a matte white or cream that's like light enough to actually highlight my skin. So let me grab a brush. I'm just gonna start with this shade. I wish there was some lighter transition shades because this is pretty dark. But we're gonna go light-handed with just a fluffy brush. and start blending this on pretty sloppily. Honestly, I'm kind of just using this as like a base. We're gonna build up the shades a bit more. In terms of the quality of these eyeshadows, they're actually very pigmented and blendable and very nice. I wish they came out with some more like color stories of this palette, because they are really nice and affordable, and you get a good array of matte shades in here as well. See, even the brown kind of blends out to be a little purpley. It's kind of cool toned. Now I'm just taking that same shade and I'm gonna start building that up in the outer V of my eye. Yeah, these blend and they build really nicely. It's a big pro to them. If you like these colors, I think you would actually really like this palette. So I guess we're kind of doing a smoky look. Again, going in with that same shade, I'm gonna pop this on my bottom lash line. They also just released some really pretty looking liquid eyeshadows, but they were not going to arrive on time for this video, so unfortunately I did not get to try these out for this video, but I will let you know in the future how I end up liking those. They look really pretty and more of like a sheer wash of color. But let's go in with this matte creamy white shade. It has like a bit of warmth to it, and I'm gonna put this on the inner corner and on the brow bone. I want to use that gold shade, but just so I have like a bit of a stickier base to put that shadow on, I'm taking the concealer and just patting a little bit on my eyelid. This doesn't have to be like a full cut crease shape, just something for it to stick to. So now taking that very pretty bronzy gold on my finger, of course, so we don't get a ton of fallout. I mean, that pigment, like, these are really pretty actually. I did concealer because this shade has like a bit of a chunkier sparkle in it, so I didn't want to fall onto her face. Next, taking this almost black brown on a angled small shader brush, I'm going to start by adding a little bit of definition to the outer edge. I'm doing a little wing. Now I do have an eyeliner from them. This is their liquid black eyeliner, and it comes with a felt tip, which is not my favorite. It's super black, really effective and long wearing. I just really like brush tips. We're still going to use it, but I think if you like this tip, you would like it, but it's just not my favorite. It does give you a really like sharp line. That's one pro to these felt tip liners. This is a very fall look, which I was not expecting necessarily, but now we're going on to the palette again, taking the matte black, making sure it's really tapped off. And I'm going to use this to blend out that liner, make it a little smokier. So that's gonna be pretty much it for our eye look. I didn't have a ton of shades to work with in this specific palette. So Honest Beauty does sell mascara. It has a primer on one end. I do like that mascara formula, but I think in terms of like that price range, there's definitely more like drugstore option mascaras that I think are just as good, if not better, and I don't think the primer really does anything. So that's my opinion on that. I didn't feel like repurchasing it because I just don't absolutely love that mascara. So we're gonna go ahead and do mascara. I'll probably do lashes too to help this look come together. Then we'll finish up with our lips. All right, I'm back. Lashes are drying. Don't lashes just make everything better? So much better. You always ask about my lashes, and my absolute favorites are the Kiss 01 lashes. You can also get the Ardell, I believe they're the 11 lashes. They're essentially the same thing, but these are actually less expensive. On Amazon, you can get the 5-pack for I believe under $10. I think on Prime Day, I got this pack for $5. So it is just like a very pretty wispy lash, but I always cut them. So I actually get 2 lashes out of each pair, so it's a really good deal. This lasts me forever. and they're kind of just like a really nice wispy lash that you can wear every day or for like a night out, and they just work in so many different occasions, and I think they really flatter my eye shape. If you want that sort of like cat eye look, I think they really help with that type of vibe. So onto lips, I think these are some of my favorite products from them. So they make a tinted lip balm, which I do enjoy, and then they also have these liquid lipsticks. I actually have a swatch video of all of these shades. If you want to see what they look like on my lips, I will put it in the info card. But three of my favorites are BFF, which is like this mauvey toned pink, BFF, which is more of like a true pink nude, and then this red, which they released I think last year on Valentine's Day, which is Love. It's the perfect like cooler toned red, super flattering. But I think we're probably gonna use both of these. I'm gonna start off with BFF, and I already have a lip liner on. So these kind of smell like clay or like Play-Doh, which I honestly don't mind. I'd probably prefer it over a scent. I just really dislike like those vanilla-y or like super sweet flavored lipsticks. So these are a liquid lipstick, but they don't really necessarily fully dry down. They can be a little bit sticky, which I will tell you a hint of how to take care of that in a little bit. But you could obviously leave this how it is. This shade I love. I think it's perfect for my skin tone. Looks super pretty. They do have a bunch of shades of these depending on what kind of shade you like. And then I'm gonna take the off-duty shade, which is more of like a pinky nude. You can tell it's lighter too, and I just do this on the center of my lip and sort of blend it in with my finger. So I think these are really comfortable on their own if you wanted the sheen to sort of remain on your lips. But like I mentioned, they can be a little bit like sticky. So what I do is take a tissue and just blot. It just takes off the excess, and then take whatever powder. I'm gonna use the Honest Beauty one actually, so I'm not using talc near my mouth. Just take that on your finger super lightly, and all it does is just sort of prevent that like stickiness feeling, makes it a little bit more matte. You could leave them like shiny. I think they look really nice either way, but I think this is a little bit more comfortable for me. Like it just doesn't feel as sticky. I keep saying sticky. We get it. They can be sticky. Anywho, that was everything actually. Let me go ahead and fix my hair. So here's our finished look. As long as I don't look up close at my face, I think it actually came out really nice, especially once we have the lashes and the lips on. There's a lot of things to love about Honest Beauty, some not so good hits that I talked about throughout the video. The foundation couldn't get to work for me. I know I did some weird things, but even off camera, I tried that foundation probably 5 times trying to get it to work for me. If you have any tips on how to get that to work, or if you just dislike it like I do, let me know below. I would love to hear from you since it's such a weird product in my opinion. The cheek products are nice. I do like the blendability of the eyeshadows. I love the lipstick shades, so pretty. What else do I love? Blushes are a big hit. I think the primers, just like, I'm not a huge primer person, and I just think that specific primer really didn't work with the foundation that I used it with. But other than that, it was really fun sort of trying out their new products. Ooh, the concealer. This new concealer, super hopeful for. I will definitely continue to wear this on my face and see how it does. But this I'm very excited about because it just surprised me all around in terms of the coverage, and the packaging feels really nice. Formula felt nice and hydrating. Alright everybody, that was it for today's full face of Honest Beauty. I know we had some speed bumps along the way, but it was still fun to try everything out. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried anything from Honest Beauty and what your thoughts are. I would love to know. I'll be chatting with you down below. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Here's a cute dog picture for doing so. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.